All right, so we're back here on another Couch Coach Live. What's going on, Maui?
What's up, Coach? Man, what's going on with you? Like the background, man. I tell you,
Yeah,
give me
man.
every week. Give me every
Yeah.
week.
Hey, man. Had the green screen for a minute, so I was like, well, let me just try this out. I had it for a minute. Didn't have like a dedicated wall.
Right.
Now, let me just move stuff around and see I can, get this wall. And
Mm.
got the green screen. So yeah, I didn't had it for a minute. So it's almost on my weatherman type of stuff. So you know how when it comes to the weather people they had that green screen behind them. So
You
that
definitely,
happened.
definitely a brand, B. Definitely a brand.
So yeah, we got that squared away. So tonight we got a great show lined up for you tonight. We'll talk about some NBA playoffs, and then at the bottom of the hour, we'll have our guy Reid Johnson of the Mark mm, MarkCast
Uh-huh.
podcast. And we'll talk about a little USFL action. So we'll
Right.
have him at the bottom of the hour. Got a definitely great show lined up for you. So what we're gonna do before we get into the show, we definitely gonna kick our intro, and we'll be back. Let's cue that up. All right.
Right.
All right, and we're back here on Couch Coach Live. And this week we're powered by the good folks at Goalie. Head over to goalie.com, use my promo code Couch Coach, and get yourself 10% off at checkout. So, without further ado, we're back at it again. We got some NBA playoffs to talk about. Obviously, great, pretty much start to the playoffs thus far. We had a few good games going on, and so definitely we'll discuss that. So, first thing we want to talk about: what was the biggest takeaway from this weekend in the NBA playoffs?
I mean, I think the teams, the one that was supposed to win, nothing big. It seemed exciting. To me, it was exciting. A lot of good games, some blowouts, and even in the blowouts, it was like, okay, this team could be a contender because to me, don't nobody really know who necessarily is going to win the championship this year. So it was just exciting, man, and just to see what we about to do is playoff basketball. I think everybody go over the top every time a team wins. They seem like oh, they're going to win the championship. They're going to sweep them. And I'm like, nah, it's a chess game. Remember, you got to win 4 games. So, you know, but it's just the beginning, man. If I had to pick a team, definitely that, um, the next game was extremely exciting. And then it gives you something to talk about, about what the Nets necessarily going to need to do, um, defensive wise. And for me, man, probably the the Warriors for Steph coming out of the bench. I've been saying it for a minute that either Steph or Clay was going to have to come out of the bench because I felt like this is Jordan. This is Jordan Poole's team. Like, well, I won't say it's his team, but he is the rising star that's stepping up. You know what I mean? And I think the most important player though on a playoff team is the sixth man, and to have Steph coming off the bench is it's just deadly. So I hope they keep doing it, but really hurts my stomach to be trying to speak well for the Warriors. But I have to give respect to I have to respect that, because I just have to respect that. Like they want to win championships. You make those type of adjustments, man. That's crazy to me. Let me see who else. I it's every game is intriguing to me. The 76ers, the Bucks in Chicago. I'm gonna be honest with you. I felt like Chicago could have won that game. I felt that they was containing Giannis at one point, but I think they got to score. They got to figure out a
Yeah.
different way to make some point. Shout out to what's your man? I think used to have a wild hair, White,
Oh,
Kobe
Kobe
White.
White. Yeah, go
Yeah,
Kobe
he
White.
stepped
Yeah.
up. He stepped up, but I should have put him down for that. He stepped up, but I really felt they were containing Giannis. You know, to beat Giannis, you got to have that Giannis wall. You can get Middleton out. You know what I'm saying? You can get Middleton out of there, but they got to figure out to really get some offense. You know what I mean? They got to figure out some offense. If they can get some consistent offense, they could beat them. I seen it. You can see it. Like, man, if they just
Yeah.
do this, they could beat them. But that's it, coach. Go ahead and do your thing.
Yeah, and like you said, with Chicago, that situation, like you said, DeMar DeRozan couldn't hit for nothing, and even like you said, even to hold them to 93 points, that's pretty impressive. And that's one of the things where it's kind of scary because it's like you pretty much got them down to 93 points. It's like this isn't going to happen. This is an anomaly. So if you're not
Mhm.
able to take advantage of that situation in game one, no telling, how the series can be. So yeah, that too.
Mhm.
And I looked at, like you said, I looked at Golden State as well, because I think Golden State was a team that backpedaled going into the playoffs. Obviously with the injury with Steph Curry, like we
Mhm.
figured, okay, how was this chemistry gonna come together? How the old big three was gonna all come together, obviously with Clay, Clay,
Right.
Steph, and Draymond, because they ain't played only just a handful of minutes all together as a
Mhm.
unit. So then now, like you said, Steph Curry coming off the bench voluntarily. He's doing his thing, and even seeing what Jordan Poole was doing, because I looked at him and like Gary Payton, Gary Payton the third, I guess Gary Payton. I forgot. I don't know if
I
he's
think so.
junior or whatever. But anyway, Gary Payton's son,
Right.
little Gary, and I always
Mhm.
thought they were gonna be kind of the two that I looked at once Clay came back was going to be like the issue, as far as they're going to get limited minutes. They're going to be kind of whisked off to the side. But you looking in this playoff series, especially, this is considering the fact, beating Denver by double digits in both those games. Just want to see how that series turns, how that turns going to Denver. Like, could they, will Golden State come back to San Francisco in this series, So it's one of those things where see how the tide will turn. And I think also Philly too Philly and Golden State are kind of like eerily similar when it comes to it, but in a different way. Like, we looked at Philly as a situation where, hey, they're a team where we know James Harden is there. Is he going to fold? And, like in the playoffs, like he cousinly has done in the past. So you look at that situation, and then also just with this process, and then, all these Doc Rivers rumors that he's getting exiled. He's going to LA, take the first plane out to LA. All these different distractions, different things that the Sixers have encountered on the last few weeks or so. So that too, I'm impressed with what they've done. That's gonna be another interesting them going to Toronto as well. How the complexity of the series will change, so that too, and then man, poor Steven Adams. Steven Adams. And when we talk about, and that's the thing about the playoffs. The playoffs are about mismatches and
Mhm.
about matchups and what you can exploit. I
Mhm.
think we already have one. I know, even though they're tipping off right now as we're recording the show for game 2, but Saturday alone lets me know Steven Adams is in for a doozy. Like, we tell people pack their lunch, he need to
Yeah.
pack a lunch, dinner, and a few snacks, because it's going to be a long series if what we see in the game 1 transpires throughout this whole entire series. It's going to be rough for him, because I think Karl Anthony Towns, I think, and that's another thing too, where even what Minnesota's done, even though, like we said, game 1s, you look at those type of things, you're impressed, especially for how Minnesota kind of backslide in the playoffs. Obviously, actually, being in the actual playing game, beating the Clippers, and then the whole thing of them, Pat Beverly doing a Kobe Bryant impersonation after winning the championship. So you looked at that, you thought that team was somewhat on the emotional high. So you look at those type of moments because you think to yourself, if you're gonna celebrate like this, where's your energy level come Saturday? And they bought it. And my goodness, Anthony Edwards is another guy where he's a guy that's answered the call. Like he's the number one overall pick in that 2020 draft for a reason. If there was ever any denying or any question about him being number one overall pick, even if you question it prior to Saturday, which you shouldn't have, I think if you watch any ounce of Minnesota Timberwolves basketball over the course of the season,
Right.
he deserves that top pick in that 2020 draft picks in that year. But he's phenomenal. But the playoffs have been fun so far. This is definitely going to be a very interesting 2 months to say the least. Like as far like you said, there's a mystery. Mm-hmm.
I just want to, like I said years ago, you got these coaches, man. It's time to make some adjustments. Like, I got a question for you. Do you think maybe Memphis, maybe Ja, because Memphis started winning without him, maybe Ja might be putting them in a predicament where the chemistry might have been better without him? Let's be real.
I mean, yeah, but then you look at, but Memphis is interesting. Memphis is, I think even with that situation, without having Ja in Atlanta, was that sustainable? Like, could that be sustainable for a long period of time?
Right.
That's the thing. And I think their issue is, like you said, they have to just make adjustments and adjust. Like, but I still think, John Morant's one of those guys who any given night can take over a game, especially when you look at, and this definitely in this series, he can definitely, because there's a lot of, like we talk about, as far as from a playoff perspective, there's a lot of matchups there to watch, and there's a lot of mismatches that teams can exploit. And I look at this situation where Memphis is just a collection of good players, and I think and I think Charles Barkley hit it on the head, and it was perfect how he said it. He asked, I think he asked Kenny, Ernie, and Shaq, like, who's the second best player in Memphis? It's three of them that you could think about. You could think about Jaren Jackson Jr., Baines, and also your boy Dylan Brooks.
It was Dylan Brooks, but once he got hurt, Baines stepped up, and then before that, in the bubble, it was Jackson. Remember that?
Right, Jaren Jackson. Yeah, so that's another thing too, where in this type of scenario, especially in the playoffs, it's a good thing and a bad thing to have. It's one of the things where, yes, it's great to say, hey, we have a combination of guys that are good, but then, like you said, who's the second best player on this team? Like Charles Barkley said it perfectly, and I was throwing out certain names, and like everybody was throwing out those same names as well. So it's kind of one of the things where you think to yourself, like, it's a catch-22 in a sense where it's good, but it's kind of bad that, that could potentially, and I think especially in the playoff series and just in the playoffs alone, you need to, those roles need to be defined. Like, who's that second best player? Who's going to be that guy that's going to step up? But I think, and I don't know, it's just one of the things I think Memphis, I don't know, it's going to be interesting. Because Minnesota does pose as a huge matchup problem for them. Like, that was really the bad luck of the draw. Like, to me, I wouldn't say if I was them, I would probably have faced the Clippers, but no, I wouldn't necessarily say that either. Right. But I think Minnesota is a different team, and they're finally like emerging at the right time. So
okay, few questions. I know we gotta What do you think Denver needs, man? I know they said Murray's not there and Michael Porter Jr. Yeah, but I feel like they still need something else. Like, they need like some championship experience, who really is the leader on that team? It ain't Joker.
It's the 2-time league MVP. Well, let me preface that the future 2-time league MVP, because I think he's gonna get the MVP this year. I don't like, but I mean, the thing is, I think you lose those two type of guys and Murray and Michael Porter Jr. That really hurts because you really think they are a team that, when you think about it, do have playoff experience. They were in the Western Conference Finals, although being in a bubble.
Hey man,
But
stop saying that. I hate when y'all do that, man.
no, but I said, but I prefaced the bubble. I think that was harder. I've always said that's hard, but that's why
But
I like, because I
but
know if someone says this, they're gonna think I'm taking it out of context.
right.
But that does count. Like, I mean, seriously, it does count.
Well, if
But
you remember, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
mhm.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I think, like you said, they might need like a veteran guy. Like, I mean, I just to throw out a name, not saying like this is viable, but like somebody like a Jay Crowder or somebody not
Oh,
not
that's
in the
good.
physical, not in
Yeah.
not in the more so in the sense of they need, like you said, maybe a veteran toughness, maybe like a what we call like a heat check kind of guy, a guy who can kind of who can
You know who
can
I was
be.
thinking of?
Mhm.
I was thinking like I was thinking like a Kyle Lowry, like somebody that can motivate them. And no, I mean I'm not
Boom.
saying him. Somebody that kind of had kind of won a championship.
Okay.
Somebody who can get on the floor still, like Sam Cassell did for Boston back in the day when they won.
Yeah,
Like
no
somebody
doubt.
that has that thing that can change the whole. Because you see, man, like they arguing with each other. He gets ejected, and I'm like, bro, you
Uh-huh.
did the same shit last
Yep.
year, and you was
Last
the
year.
MVP. So I said,
Yep.
you are going to lose again. You cannot do that against these Warriors. You have got to focus. The next thing you know, it's going to be harder for you. It's going to be harder for you. You already know off top, you're going to have to do something with them three guys,
Yeah.
either Draymond, Clay, or Steph. Somebody got to get in foul trouble. You got to do that. You got to do that. And then the Warriors, to me, what makes them dangerous, I always felt like they say three, I said five.
Hmm.
Iggy coming off the bench, Steph, Draymond, and Draymond was playing he could play the 4-5 or the point guard. You know what I'm saying? But Draymond, Steph, Clay starting, and then Livingston. Livingston was very, very, very important coming off the bench because he can easily give you 15 consistent points. And to have Steph coming off the bench, man, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Listen, Westbrook. I'm just playing. Um, but yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting. It's really gonna be interesting.
Yeah. And yeah, and shout out to our guy Jordan, our resident, one of our guests, one of our favorite guests on Couch Coach Live, one of our guys. Yeah. And
Hmm.
Jordan definitely knows the pain. He talked about it often, as far as from the Denver perspective. And like you
Well, I'm
said,
about dude
it's just
Jordan. Yeah, yeah.
it's getting to a point, yeah. But do play a little bit more physical than they did. They have got on the Nugget skin, like we talked about, like pretty much needing a heat check kind of guy. And like you said, when you do lose those two guys, it's rough. But like you said, to add on to it, maybe they do need to have like a veteran muscle, a guy like it, that's like we call it a heat check kind of guy. So,
But
um,
even a guy just on the bench that's not playing, like Haslam is the Miami Heat. They,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That can get control and get motivated. I hope they, no disrespect to Cousins, but I think he was trying to do that last night. You know what I mean? In
hmm
some type of way, you can't, like, remember when the Phoenix Suns played and they ran over back in the day Steve Nash. Like it took
yeah,
the whole dynamic of the team. You can't be the guy to lose your temper like that. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Especially that team because they don't have really anybody else. And like Aaron Gordon, who really is Aaron Gordon besides a dunker? I ain't seen Aaron Gordon since he was in Orlando
Gordon was balling, boy.
on a, on a white sand beach.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon, shoot, Aaron Gordon was a dog in Arizona.
You know, hey, have you seen him? Like, I ain't no offense. He got paid, so I'm gonna get that
Yo,
good cannabis all by myself. Yeah. Well, yeah, man.
It kicked me
who-
off. Let me. There we go. All right.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
who else, man? I'm gonna tell you this. I seen Nick Nurse say something to Joel Embiid, and I hope that that's what I'm saying. Every team, if they get coached right, they get coached right and have right game plan. Anybody could be beat, and I don't think no team is scared of either. I think they may be scared of Phoenix Suns or the Warriors, but man, them 76ers, if they lose to the Raptors in the first round,
And at this point, they should because they got a cushion lead. Like if they blow this, and we know Doc blow leads in the playoffs. So
I mean they up two.
yeah,
You know
they
what I'm
up two.
saying?
And that's what I'm saying.
They
This
won the games they supposed to win.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And like the complexity of it's gonna change in Toronto because I think what's he can't play. Was it Thabo? And that
And
could be
James
a problem. And
And
that could
James
be a problem.
Harden, man, is different. James Harden. I hope eventually me, you, and JB can have a conversation about Westbrook and James Harden because because they saying that he can't do this anymore. He can't do that. You know what I mean? He getting
Yeah,
paid well.
yeah, and that's the thing. Well, with him, is always he's a kind of one of those guys where you think to yourself like, okay, there's moments, but we just go back based on what we've seen in the past, like
Hmm.
from what he's done even 10 years ago, being in the NBA Finals, and pretty much even though he was a six man, didn't show up to play in those pivotal games, for OKC situations in Houston, countless times in Houston, giving up even last year. Last year too can count as one too. So, I mean, until he gets to a point where he's gonna have his reputation, unfortunately, because there is a body of work to show you, hey, when the lights is on and when it matters, he folds. So until he gets to that moment, that season, until he get to that situation,
Hmm.
he's gonna get that reputation, and we
I
all
don't
know how things are.
I don't even think that he's ever going to get back there. I think his chance was when he played with Chris Paul the first year. You know what I mean?
2018.
And and I think the next year because it just I don't know, man. I don't think he's ever going to be able to get back there.
Yeah, until he win the championship. I mean, honestly, and that's the thing where, and it is what it is. Like, I mean, just like everybody, we're all judged by our performance.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's gonna supersede whatever he does. And like you said, he'll walk into the basketball Hall of Fame with
Right.
ease. He'll
Well,
be he'll be there 4 years after he retire. But like I said, that still be a
I I know it's a
it'd be something.
different era. I know it's a different era, but when we see Reggie Miller, we have respect for him because we know Reggie balled, right? He
Yeah,
may be corny, but still he balled. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But it's Harden, and he didn't win MVP, but we still gonna look at Reggie Miller different than James
Yeah,
Harden.
but there's a difference too, but there wasn't a situation where we look at certain situations where Reggie Miller folded under pressure.
There we go.
We didn't have those situations versus James Harden, which there's a like you said, there's a stigma, not a stigma, but comparing eras to eras, I get that, but
Right.
this is a different era, especially now in this day and age, because you think about it, you look at all that big three that they had. KD has won multiple titles. Russ ain't win one. James Harden is another one where we built the team around you, and you didn't get it done. So it's just like everything. Everybody in this era who doesn't win a ring, this is like the ring era. Like in this generation where people you're based on your rings, and I think a lot of people are gonna look at it down like he just gonna if we look at it from his totality, he'll be a guy that is just gonna be and that's all he's going to be judged on. He's going to be judged
Right.
on the scoring. He won the MVP, but what did he
Right.
do in the playoffs? What did he do? And what did he do people gonna judge that. Even 10 years, people still hold it over his head. And I mean, it is what it is. And even though he was a sixth man at the time, and he was, obviously was extremely young, but it is what it is. But yeah, so we gotta definitely we'll put a kibosh on the NBA playoff talk for now. We got a special guest in the building, and it's so funny we bringing our guy Reid from the MarkCast. And it's funny, and for all this time, I've seen this man's profile and and checking him out and his content. We have a common interest. We are both Commanders, so I'm gonna bring in. We're gonna bring in Reid. What's going on, Reid?
I get a lot of comments because I'm in Seattle. I get a lot of comments about my Commander stuff, so it's always a good conversation starter when we go out. So.
Yeah, so we got in the building the MarkCast, aka Reid the Commander. I am Couch Coach the Commander as well. So nice to finally meet.
That's good.
About to give y'all a compliment. I'm sorry, Reid, you can go ahead.
No, I said thanks for having me out. Yeah, I just got this. This is the draft hat from the Commanders. I think this is the best thing they've done so far. This is a really nice hat. So,
you know what? I didn't like I didn't like the hat, honestly, because it had the trim, like the cursive, and I'm like, yeah, and I was like,
it's hot. I mean, it's hot. It's a hot hat.
But you know what? I didn't see that one. I seen the one with the white in cursive. I didn't know that one was in gold.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a big fan.
Oh, now that's a little bit different because the one I seen was in white. So I'm like, looks kind of tacky. But then now the gold gives it a little bit of because I think because I know they showed the ones in white and I like, but that one's like I like that the cursive is in gold. So that's definitely yeah.
Well, Reid, I'm gonna say this. I'm a Steeler, okay? But I'm going to say this. It's honest. Did you say you sorry? I didn't even. No, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been having conversations, man, with a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie. You Commanders are some of the best fans. Y'all can be a little cocky, which is okay. You're not over the top annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like you can really watch a game with you guys, and it's okay. No lie, man. My Steeler fans, they can get a little too crazy, and you know how the Cowboy fans are. You know what I mean? Patriot fans are so arrogant, and you know what I mean. Like it can go on and on and on and on. With even Giant fans are a little lost, but I was like, man, the Commander fans, they kind of chill. Like you can invite them over to the barbecue and have them over something. They just like, yeah, we them. We got a couple of them. You can talk history with them. You know what I mean? And they okay.
Commanders Twitter is a very negative space. So I don't know how deep you are in it. They can get very negative in there really quick.
Yeah, I ignore them on game days. Like because actually I do a Washington football team podcast. Well, that's what we call it, Watch Football Guys, which we can probably change momentarily. But me and my other co-hosts, and they's like, "You've been on Twitter." I was like, "No, I stay away from Twitter during games." No, because
man, that's different. Y'all get emotional.
No, because it's idiotic people. Because this is what happens. Taylor Heineke will throw an interception. Oh, he got to be benched. Oh, he's a scrub. And I'm just like, okay, really? Like, as if like all the other quarterbacks we've had in the past hadn't thrown interceptions. Like, and like it'd be stuff like even if he throws an interception and it's like a tip drill type of ball, and it's like that's not his fault. Like, so they read it. Oh, he sucked. Jamie Davis. Oh, he's trash. I'm just like, he ain't even in the game. He's only played like
they might not be real Commander fans. They might just be trolls. Trust me. I got a whole bunch of them. Some of the groups that I'm in, they not real.
But even with that, and that's just minor talk. They always say the most dumbest things. It's like I just can't with them. Like I can't. Like, but yeah. So But we'll have plenty of time to talk Commanders down the road.
That's
so
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can definitely. So you actually had the opportunity to actually go to Birmingham, Alabama, and cover the first week of the USFL. So I wanted to just talk about your thoughts on just the atmosphere of just Birmingham itself and just that opening weekend.
Yeah, it's remarkable how much stuff there is to talk about the USFL kickoff that doesn't actually involve any of the actual USFL gameplay right now. There's a lot of storyline. We have the ratings from all the games now that have come out here in the last couple of days, attendance issues. The opening night was great. We stayed down in Birmingham, stayed right across the street from the stadium, packed house. I had posted a photo, kind of midway through the night. Really late arriving crowd and a really early leaving crowd, which I think you're going to get when you have $10 tickets. I think you get a lot of people like, yeah, I'll go check that out, but aren't necessarily, die hard. I'm going to tailgate for 4 hours before.
Yeah. And what's the beauty thing about and it's crazy because like you said, the ratings were very well because I think it was like 3 million viewers during that the first weekend. So that was interesting. And like you said, I think we will, and it's funny, I had a family event on Saturday and we actually, instead of watching the playoff games that Golden State and I think it was somebody else in that window that they were playing. We got treated to some great football. Obviously, the Generals versus the Stallions. Obviously, in that game, the Stallions did pull that victory over New Jersey Generals. Your thoughts on that finish?
That was by far the best game of the weekend, right? I have to imagine that Fox, NBC, kind of knowing that team, those two teams were going to be on the simulcast and all of that on both networks. I think that they had a lot of work with all of them to kind of get ready to go. Both teams scored right off the gate. You had scoring drives on each side. Really slowed down during the middle. You have to remember these teams have only been in training camps for about 2.5 weeks. They've only had one preseason game generally per team. So you're getting a lot of those kind of working out the kinks. They also have smaller rosters. They only have 38-man rosters. So you get a lot of conditioning issues as you get into the later parts of the game. Generals, it seemed like they were going to win. Eventually, they got kind of gassed. Their defense got gassed. The Stallions were able to run through, and they were able to get, I think, the 4-point win, right? What was it, 24?
Yeah.
I have it here, 24-28.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were able to get that. It was exciting. I mean, the crowd was into it. You want Birmingham to win, right? The home, this all fake bubble season right now, but you would like the home team to win that first game with the Stallions.
Right.
Yeah, and that game was really interesting because, especially that final drive for New Jersey, they ran it really down, Birmingham's throats. And I'm thinking to myself, is this gonna be sustainable? That first from the beginning of the drive, because I think it was like a 4th and long, and they did the run play, and I'm like, and that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was exciting. We had a suite. We had one of the guys that runs one of the XFL and USFL's Facebook groups got us in the suite. I was able to kind of bump shoulders with some of the USFL execs and stuff. That was exciting because we were all it's not a large stadium, it holds about, I think 37, 40,000, but in terms of the suite level and stuff, you're really able to kind of get around and see who's, but like I said, bump shoulders and kind of see what's going on.
Yeah. Was there any other week 1 games that stood out to you?
Yeah, so Michigan came out. Michigan against Houston was kind of the second game, the first game on the second day. You had Shea Patterson. That was the number 1 overall draft pick. Michigan Panthers took him first. He had been, a big Michigan player, played in the CFL, had been on some practice squads. We've tracked him. He was in the spring league before, which is now morphed into the USFL. That was kind of the first step to this. He really suffered. Paxton Lynch was the backup quarterback for Michigan. He also really suffered. It kind of, these players that, you're using these leagues, right, to kind of rebuild, change your narrative, right? Like do the Ryan Tannehill thing or whatever. Okay, I'm going to kind of change my narrative here. And Paxton Lynch and Shea Patterson both kind of struggled in that regard.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff Fisher.
Jeff Fisher is probably one of the most popular entities in the USFL right now, I will say, both on and off the field.
Yeah. So any player performances that stood out to you in week one?
Yeah, so it got really kooky after that. They delayed some of the games. We had thunderstorms in the area. There was actually fear that the kickoff game was going to have to be postponed or pushed back too, just because horrendous storms kind of going through the area. We were traveling back. I was able to watch most of the Stars Breakers game at the airport while we waited for our flight. Brian Scott, he's the quarterback for them. We've tracked him a long time as well. He's a former player in the Spring League. He's the quarterback for them. The Stars lost, but played really well. Brian, I think, had most completions of any quarterback over the weekend. You had a lot of really run happy offenses and a lot of coaches that weren't necessarily trusting their quarterbacks, right, to throw the ball too much. Like we saw even in the kickoff game, a lot of running later in the game to try to kind of be safe that way. But the Stars did good. They ended up having to postpone the late Sunday game into Monday. So then we had a Monday Night Football game last night.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was, obviously a good game, Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh. So I guess that's the perfect segue to, I guess I want to say the elephant in the room as far as from the USFL's perspective, the cut of Davion Smith. So obviously the United by Football documentary, a series that they ran, they posted a clip of Kirby Wilson, actually former Commanders running back coach from the year 2000.
Yeah, it's all connected.
A little nugget, right?
All connected.
So he cuts the former Michigan running back. So there it was cited pretty much about the chicken salad that the hotel provided them, and then he seen a hotel worker or someone, an employee, having a box of pizza and asked, "Hey, can I get a slice?" And that was, I guess, was the last straw because there was other infractions of disrespect. Actually, I want to go around the room and just your thoughts. I'm gonna go with you first, Reid. Your thoughts on this release.
This is really weird. So this came out. I mean, the show aired before the kickoff, right? That was the whole pre-show to the kickoff game, was this United by Football. So we had done our live show. That's why we were in Birmingham. So we were packing up and getting back to the hotel and getting ready to go. So I only saw just a few seconds of it just on the TV. So it was crazy to me that it lived Saturday night through to Sunday. And then all of a sudden, Monday morning, we have, Pat McAfee talking about it. We have the clips about it. Because it had existed for a day and a half. It's really weird. I mean, I have statements and stuff here the league has put out. They had sound from Kirby Wilson after the game last night about it as well. So the league's trying to very much double down on they did the right thing. He had a couple other infractions, and this was kind of the final straw. But this was not the highlights you wanted coming out, the headline you wanted on Monday after the kickoff of the USFL.
No.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Melvin?
I don't know if it was fake. I don't know any of that because some people say they were using it for marketing, for publicity. I don't want to even speak on that. I'm just saying, let's just say if he did, I wouldn't have cut him, maybe fined him or something. You know what I mean? Because it's professional. You know what I'm saying? But I don't even really know what to say about it because I think it seemed like the USFL has so much on so many things being thrown at it from its name and other things. A lot of things going on with it. And truth be told, since the pandemic, we all do sports podcasts. I always speak about this, how important it is for us to continue to have these different sports to come out. Spring football, the XFL's coming next year. I think it's important because we all got friends we grew up with that we like. They still can fulfill and have a job playing some type of sport. You know what I mean? So I want these leagues to make it. I don't want, you know what I mean? You ever seen an athlete, man, when they know they dream about to be crushed? It's depressing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's hard to go to like Walmart and see a guy that's 6'9" putting up frozen food. Nothing wrong with it, but hey, I guess it didn't work out, So it's kind of important to have these sports, but I don't know. I don't think it's a good look, but I know a lot of times when things like that happen, it's really publicity. And like I said, they had a great weekend, but it made when I was really following this, it seemed like that was the big thing I had heard about this weekend. That was the big thing. So it intrigued me. I started looking at more stuff. The the um the different rules that they're gonna have, the things with the football. You know what I mean? It's a lot of I'm like, oh, they're trying all these different things. So, but that situation right there is so hard to give it your energy because you don't know if it's real. It sounds so stupid. You know what I mean? It sounds so immature. And like last thing was I watched this gentleman speak on it, and he said, I'm not even he said what Kirby did, one of the things he did, he said he didn't even stand up and shake the young man's hand when he walked out. So there's a lot of little things they probably felt like it was good, but it also made the league and the team and the coach look extremely bad. Very Bruce Arians.
Yeah, it was weird because this wasn't like a post-game press conference or a clip that got out. This was produced by NFL Films. I mean, signed off. It's on Fox. That's where I don't get all of this. The USFL is a really strange entity sometimes. We try to cover and do the media stuff. I agree with some of the way they handle things. I disagree sometimes. We've dealt with this all the way back in the spring league, trying to get players and stuff. They're very secretive sometimes. They really want to control the message. Even leading up to the USFL kickoff, the only people that are at the game, we're only having Fox people there. We're only having NBC people there. We're only giving them interviews with the coaches. We're not dealing with any of these outside media. And then it's like you control the narrative from start to finish, and then you still get this. I mean, it was crazy to me that whoever signed off on this, it had to go by a bunch of eyeballs.
Yeah. And the thing that got about me was not to understand if there were other infractions. And I would have hoped that those infractions would have been mentioned in this, because to me, you think to yourself, the biggest issue was him refusing to get a chicken salad over pizza, which, and I think all of us, and I'm not saying, but like if there was multiple options and I see somebody with a pizza, hey, can I get a slice? Because I don't prefer eating chicken salad. And
you can't eat everybody's chicken salad. You can't eat everybody's chicken salad anyway.
Well, some people don't even want to eat chicken salad, period.
Regardless
of who it comes from. So to me, there's got to be something else behind that, because to me, that just make it seem like as if like that's like anything. If I have a meal, like anything, if I have a preference, if I have an option, and I don't, abide by the option that's given to me, then I could get cut. So this is one of the things where, especially, it looks like you said, it looks like it's a bad thing. And like you said, especially how, like you said, when you're looking at NFL being like the gatekeeper when it comes to this type of coverage and this type of content, it lets you know, like, you really want this message to be put out there. Like you said, I can understand if it was somebody that was maybe like, not amateur, but more so somebody that, that really wasn't entrusted with the league, and like you just let them kind of do this on their free will. But you allowed this to happen. That's one of the things where you're setting like a dangerous precedent when you do this type of things. Like, it's like, I can understand if he said, hey, you cursed out the employee because of this. Yes, that's disrespect, because even when Kirby said, hey, it falls on the line of disrespect, and then not even giving, Devion and actually talk to him, because that should have been a situation where they should have talked and kind of hashed this out and get a better understanding of this. And this looks bad when it comes to conflict resolution. This looks horrible.
It's funny too. So I was looking back here because yesterday, so when all this came out, so Hal Mummy, who was he was one of the coaches in the spring league the last go around, and he wasn't involved in the USFL now. But again, a lot of carryover from the spring league. That's what evolved into the USFL. And Hal had tweeted, and I retweeted it. He's like, yeah, the chicken salad was terrible in the spring league. Like, it always made me sick or something. And he had gone back and deleted that. And so that's one of those things that someone either told him to delete that, or he got, maybe thought better of it. Cause I was looking back on my timeline here, and I've retweeted it, and it's been deleted, but he was there. I've seen a couple of those things where people connected to the league have tweeted stuff and then have had to go back and take it down now about it.
Right.
That could explain it. That's another thing.
Right. I mean, it's And then like it was like when you watch the video, it just was bad. Even that small is because chicken salad and pizza. It didn't even get the young man who actually was a star in XFL. You didn't even give him a reason. He even asked you, you don't want to hear my side of the story? You don't want to hear, you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't even let him talk. And that's some of the issues that the big league is having, where you got to start treating each other with a certain amount of respect. It's not little league anymore. You're gonna have to do that even in college because now things have started to change. You got to conduct yourself. If you want respect, you got to give respect. You know what I mean? But from a marketing standpoint, I do think that some other team is going to get him, and if they end up playing, we're probably going to watch that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't good that Kirby Wilson then came out and laid an egg last night on FS1. I mean, really coached a horrendous game. You even had one of the audibles from one of the players was chicken salad. That was one of the audibles on the field they had because you can hear the mic. So, it's one of those things like, I watch a lot of NFC East and we hear a lot of like Joe Judge and stuff like that. You have these hard ass coaches. That only works when you're winning. And then if you, when the Giants starts, you lose the locker room. And so you get one of those things with, Kirby Wilson here and coming out and he, in his post game, from last night said, I really need to be better about myself, but it's certainly not a good look to do that. And then also stink it up on the field.
And then, like you said, and then going back to that point where the presser and he was saying, I told Adrian James, Curtis Martin, Hall of Famers about respect too, but I guarantee you are not going to cut Adrian James over some damn pizza over chicken salad. I know that for a fact. Equivocally, you are not going to get, going to have that happen. So to me, I just like you understand, like you said, Pittsburgh laid the egg, but huge shout out to our guy Cal Laletta, understood out of University of Richmond, had to put him out there like that. But yeah.
He didn't have a great game either. The Maulers really couldn't get anything going last night. It was a rough. But, the XFL here, they've come out and they're hiring a lot of non-former head coaches, a lot of former players, right? Like Hines Ward and stuff. Well, you get someone like Kirby Wilson that he's never called a football game before. You get in there and a little bit of a learning curve. You need to make sure you have some offensive coordinators around him that maybe can figure that stuff out for him.
Yeah. Right. And speaking of the XFL, definitely got to give a huge shout out to Coach Reggie Barlow, former Virginia State head coach. Now he's at with San Antonio in the XFL. Definitely huge shout out to Coach Barlow.
Well, it's rumored. It's nothing's official. Reggie Barlow is official, but the San Antonio switches.
So that's interesting though, because it was kind of questionable even that situation not to kind of go into that because it's like. You leave here and the uncertainty.
Yeah, he was the first name that came out. I mean, but that's a big deal too, because when they said the San Antonio franchise, that either means that a team is moving or we're adding one. And it looks like we're adding to have 3 in Texas, which is a discussion for a whole nother day. But that's the rumored team he is taking over.
Yeah, I know. And that's like, because I heard a little bit because they're the ones because they were the Commanders, right?
That was the AAF.
No,
San Antonio Commanders.
That's the AAF. Yeah, I'm different league. Yep.
It's okay. That's why I'm here. It's okay. That's all I do is do all this. You're good.
Hey, exactly. That's why you're
that's
here.
all I do.
Definitely. Yeah. So we got great matchups this week. Obviously, we got 2 matchups that featured 4 unbeaten teams. So what are some games to watch in week 2 of the USFL?
Well, now this is interesting because I pulled up all this stuff because I don't know the schedule off the top of my head, but this is weeks 2 and 9 are the rivalry weeks for the USFL. So we're trying to kind of establish, for better or worse, these self-imposed by the league rivalries. Panthers and Generals, that's your Friday night game. That's on USA. curious to see what these off-peak time ratings do. The FS1 game last night only brought in 268,000 viewers. That came out today. That's a little bit different than the 3.5 million that was on the simulcast. But that's like the North rivalry. And then you have Pittsburgh and Philadelphia on Saturday. I don't know. Pittsburgh looked really bad. I'm hoping for Philadelphia on that. That's my team. I know the most players on that team of any that we kind of cover and follow. Stallions, Gamblers, that seems like it's going to be halfway decent since both of those teams know how to play. Probably, I don't know, game of the week, maybe the Sunday afternoon with Tampa. Jordan Ta'amu looked really good. He's a former XFL guy. He spent a lot of time on the practice squads of a lot of NFL teams, and the Breakers played really well against the Stars too. So Sunday afternoon would probably be your game of the week.
Yeah, and I think I'm a Breakers fan because of Larry Fedora, obviously. Yep. So that Larry Fedora is my guy, University of North Carolina former head coach. So I look at that, and then I like Cal Laletta in Pittsburgh. But so I think I chose the Breakers.
You have Dave the Wave as your quarterback. He looks like Johnny Bravo mixed with the Colgate man, but you have Dave the Wave as your Blob is my mascot. Blob is the alien from outer space for the Stars. So I'm a big Blob fan.
I seen that because I think the day before they announced it, I think you posted something about it, and it's like, what's the name? What should be the name of the mascot? And then like Blob was perfect.
I put a tweet out. I said if I get 1,000 retweets, I'll get a Blob tattoo. We're about 10% of the way there, but we'll see if that ever comes to fruition.
Well, we got the XFL and the USFL, so y'all get ready because I'm sure in about a year or two, I'm sure y'all gonna see Baker Mayfield out there.
I don't know what Baker is going to do right now because I'm in Seattle. My wife. We're Seahawks. I'm kind of off them now, but I don't. Drew Lock is not your future here, so I don't know what we're doing here in Seattle.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, man, I got a Seahawk that my brother went to school with in Virginia. His name is Daryl Taylor.
That's good.
Big defensive end for the Seahawks out there, man. He loves it.
I don't know. It's a weird situation. We have Pete Carroll is 100 years old. He signed for another 5 years. I don't really see them doing a rebuild. So I'm not much better off with the Washington football team. So I'm kind of damned on both sides.
Yeah. I'm hoping the tide turns. Hopefully we get somebody at the top. And I think that'll be the issue. I think once we get rid of the issue at the height of the mountain, I think then everything will be fine. But until then, we might be suffering. But once was a proud franchise, and now it's just a shell of themselves.
I understand that.
It's just a transition, man. They're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Give y'all 3 years, y'all have a Super Bowl.
Hopefully.
I've been through a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, most definitely appreciate you for coming on, Reid, to give us a little bit of 411 on the USFL. Tell us where they can find you on social media, and then also just plug anything that you got going on.
We air every Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific on YouTube. You can go to the MarkCast.com/watch to watch the show, the MarkCast.com/listen to listen to the show. I'm at the _MarkCast on everything that way. But if you generally search that, there's not too many things called the MarkCast. So it usually pops up.
Yeah, definitely. Once again, appreciate you for coming through, and definitely we definitely got to talk some Washington football. We can probably do that for hours, but hey, we'll coordinate that time for that situation.
Yeah, I had to go on because we do CFL stuff. I had to go on a BC podcast, and I said I'm a mile wide but an inch deep, because we do CFL, XFL, USFL, fan control football, NFL. So I'm like, I can BS for about 10 minutes on anything, but don't ask me for like the secondary run. I don't know. I get a little lost in that. I'm good on all the casual talk.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll definitely talk some Commanders football. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, man. Appreciate you for coming through, and we'll catch you. We'll definitely try to get you on as far as do some more recaps for the USFL, and And also, we'll definitely, we'll do some Commander talk as well down the line as well. But yeah.
Sounds good. Reid. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care, Reid. All right. All right. Definitely huge shout out to our guy, Reid from the MarkCast. Fellow commander.
That's all
now, I need a second look on those draft heads because I'm telling you, the one that I seen, I was like, but then that gold Washington, because what it was the Commanders in burgundy. And then for what I seen, it was Washington in white cursive. And I'm like, but seeing that in the gold trim, I'm like, ooh.
I know.
Could I have that to my house by
he turned it around. Your whole demeanor changed. When he turned it around, he was like, oh, ain't that bad. You got it backwards? You got it backwards?
I was like, That's like, could I have that to my house by next Thursday?
Just to piggyback on what we was talking about that. One thing that I heard out of that was he said that they're controlling the narrative with Fox and NBC. And that's going to be probably their problem unless, you know what I mean? Because I was like, why wouldn't you should open it up to more podcasts, like to more YouTubers and things like that. That's how you go. That's free publicity.
And you know what's funny? Because I looked at, and it's funny because that was one of the things I looked at maybe towards the end of the year, like beginning of this year. There's nothing when it comes to like media. And I was like, then hearing what he said, it makes all the more sense in the world.
Right.
But I'm telling you, like, I think shout out to our guy JB Ellis. Like he told me a great thing one time. He was like, you would be surprised, like the barrier of entry is low in certain places and high in places that you wouldn't expect. Like
right.
Like the NFL, the entry, you would think $1 billion company, $1 billion enterprise, they can make a headline about anything,
right,
and it's gonna garner it.
Right.
The lowest barrier to entry when it comes to media. Shocking. Other leagues, high barrier of entry. But like you said, and I'm glad Reid brought that up because a part of me was like, I've never seen, like, most places they'll have like at least where you can communicate with like someone for communications or something. Like there would be a name or a point of contact.
Right.
I was like, I don't see one here.
So let me ask you, do you know how important the Pat McAfee show is now?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when Aaron Rodgers wanted to speak, where did he go? It's a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of people that in all different type of things, they'll go on his show and speak their mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want it to fail, but that's where they're losing it at. They should have been more modern. Like we don't know some of these players are this and that. So why wouldn't you invite some of the big sport YouTube podcasters, influencers onto the especially since it's a bubble? You know what I'm saying? You could have sat. Don't you understand? Like they don't. You know what they don't get? They don't understand that people that are influencers and that is on YouTube and all these podcasts, they don't understand. They have lawyers. They are brands.
Yeah.
They go all over the place. They go to clubs. They go to all these different events and get paid to be there. The Paul brothers is that's not even what they do. They done got multi-million-dollar deals from Showtime to do celebrity boxing.
But it is what it is. I would have loved to have gone to Birmingham, Alabama, and the sweltering heat. But I'll stay in my little mid-Atlantic dwelling and just do what I do. But like you said,
it's free promotion.
It is.
It's free promotion.
Right.
Especially when you're gonna have games at weird times on USA. who plays who? Oh, the channel USA. What sport is on USA?
Nothing really. And that's why like but they start having some stuff as of late,
A
and
lot
I
of
didn't
times,
even know. Yeah, I thought it was a movie channel. I mean, used to
a
just
lot of that's right.
yeah,
So a lot of times when people watch sports, they turn the channels where they think sports are on. So if
yeah,
you're gonna have it on something like USA, you want to promote it. That's all I'm saying. I want
yeah,
all of it to make it, but they got to stop thinking that these networks can control us. You know
yeah.
what I mean? A
But
lot of these big
yeah,
time stars in the NBA, man, they started. We know who they are based upon YouTube and influencers.
yeah,
Anyway, that's it.
yeah. It's it's interesting, like you said, and that's one thing too. When you look at these type of situations, hey, it's not too late. USFL, call me.
Yeah, it's not. Y'all need to. Yeah, yeah. If y'all really want to look at what the big boss, big. Okay, I get. And then like that's the way to go anyway.
Yeah,
They just look at their Super Bowl halftime show.
but
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? They had, they had to go they got Jay-Z. They went and got that's one of the biggest things. Everybody who didn't even watch football. Remember, people
yeah,
would say, man, I don't watch NFL no more. A lot of
yeah,
people were saying that for years, been saying that for years on both sides.
yeah. Don't
And look,
forget.
and they watched that Super Bowl.
And people was even saying they weren't gonna watch the halftime show. And that's like, dude,
It-
it's
it-
only at 12 minutes long. You gonna over one for you gonna watch something. You gonna stop watching something that you love to watch because of 12 minutes of something that you don't like. How you thought I felt when the hoop was on? And guess what? I just went and got some more wings. I went to the bathroom, got me something to drink. Like I got up. Okay. By the time I use the bathroom, wash my hands, grab some more wings, grab something to drink. The show was over. How you think we felt 11, 12 years ago when that happened?
right.
I lived, I survived.
But this the other thing too. That's how I know it's gonna be a problem with that too. Because I'm thinking to
Yeah,
myself, why wouldn't you go get some of these modern hip hop guys to necessarily be a part of
yeah,
um the show? You know what I'm saying? Be a
mm-hmm.
part of the company.
Yeah.
XFL. I don't know what the XFL, but you would definitely
Oh,
that
no.
would help you out. That would help you out. Like more people would come out there. Like you got to
Oh,
really
yeah.
start. You got to start thinking, man. You know
And I
what I
think they
mean?
will. And that's the thing. And I think I think their initial thing is just getting over this season where they
Right.
have what they call like a bubble situation. Because I really want to see how these other teams will fare in their home markets. That's
Right.
another thing I think I really want to see before, people, I say, quote unquote, write the league off. I want to
Right.
see a crowd in Pittsburgh. I want to see a crowd in Houston, New Orleans, everywhere else. So that's another thing too. I want to see how they will be in these home markets, which I think that could potentially help them. And then you even just look at the difference between Saturday night and then Sunday, and
Right.
Sunday is kind of weird because Sunday was Easter. So
Easter.
you
Right.
look at Easter and it's the South. So
Right.
when it comes to that type of stuff, and then now a few more weeks, you got Mother's Day coming up, another major holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at those type of situations where they can kind of be into factors. So there, I think they're just in a point where, hey, we're just going to experiment and just see how things go. It's still a good product. Like we said, we watched the
Mm-hmm.
game, the inaugural game, which I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was a real good game. It was back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
really entertaining. Even
Mm-hmm.
even the children of the family was well, they didn't stay put, but they didn't,
Right. I know what you mean.
they
I'm just
they, they
happy
was
that it gets.
attentive.
I'm happy that because there's a couple of people that I know when the pandemic hit, it was supposed to be their chance to maybe get in the draft back up, but the pandemic messed them
Mhm.
up. And I just want I want the XFL and I want this other league, the USFL, to make it, man, because
Yeah.
a lot of guys still want to play football, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing you hate for the XFL because literally they were on a roll. Like we were covering every week, and then all of a sudden,
Right.
within like the third or fourth week, that's when COVID hit. You're like, damn, like you
And
know,
they, but the Rock getting it,
yeah,
I think he got passion. He has real passion for it.
yep,
And I think they kind of partner up with the NFL too. And that's the whole thing. Like I would be like some type of way. I know it's different leagues, but man, y'all should be connecting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For real. Go get Phillip Rivers. I'm sorry.
Shoot.
Go ahead.
Yeah. That's right. Philip. He needs to stay where he at with them kids because he don't
That's
need
why
to be
he
out
needs
there. He don't
that's
need
why
to be
he
out
needs to
there.
play.
He don't need that smoke. But yeah. But definitely a huge shout out to the USFL. Definitely looking forward to watching them play. And I thought about it too. Where even though the draft may not hinder them because if they do it right, it may not hinder them. But that could be another factor too. So um, but yep. So we'll put a bow on this week's Couch Coach Live, man. Any final thoughts and social media plugs? What you got?
Final thoughts, man. Great show. Like I said before, man, playoffs is here. I'm highly entertained. It's a lot of questions and answers should be answered. Definitely I'm happy that USFL is out there. All these different things, man. More sports. Like I said, since the pandemic, man, I think we should value these things more. I'm happy they're expanding, having more leagues. Social media, Sean Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan, 78 Instagram. Another great show. Appreciate you, Coach.
Yeah. Once again, another great show. Definitely huge shout out to our guy Reid from the MarkCast
Right.
for coming on. Yeah, man, another great show. Yeah, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram under Couch Coach Live. Check us out anywhere you get your social media, anywhere Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, under Couch Coach Live. Also TikTok. You subscribe to our YouTube page, Couch Coach Live. Let's see. Also the website couchcoachlive.com. Gonna be doing some extra stuff with that coming down the line. Doing some stuff on the website to improve it a little bit more. There's some other stuff that's going on. We got that going on. Then also check out the podcast anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify. We're there as well. So in Apple, Spotify, iHeart, definitely, pretty much anywhere you get your podcast, to search Couch Coach Live, we're there. Definitely. And then also tomorrow, check us out on Twitter. So we'll do the Kickers got a game tomorrow night. So definitely huge shout out to the Richmond Kickers. I'll be out there tomorrow covering their matchup in the U.S. Open Cup. I think they play North Carolina, if my memory serves correct. So they play the UNC, the North Carolina Fusion, and the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. So that'll be tomorrow. So definitely check us out on Twitter. Where we'll have like scoring updates. And also get some post-game interviews as well. So definitely huge shout out to the Richmond Kickers for this tremendous opportunity. Shout out to Nate, those guys, Mr. Ucrop, all the guys, part of Kickers, to everybody. So definitely huge shout out to them for this opportunity. So, yeah. Another great show. And we'll be back next week. Next week, we'll be doing some draft coverage. We'll do a mock draft. So we'll get some more details as we'll get all, as far as who we'll bring on to the show next week, as far as the mock draft. So we'll get that covered. Then also Thursday, catch me on, let's see, shout out to our guy, Coach Farr. I'll be on his podcast on Thursday night, I think 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. We're also doing a mock draft on there too. So I'll be representing the Washington football team. So if you're the Washington Commanders. That's it.
Commanders.
Anyway. Commanders, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be on.
Sound like an XFL team. Sorry.
Yeah, and I'll definitely be on. Definitely huge shout out to Coach Farr. I'll be on the Candid Corner Thursday night. So we got that going on. Then tomorrow we'll be at City Stadium. I give you scoring updates on our Twitter page live, and yeah, another one. Then and I think we're back at it again on Saturday night for the Kickers as well. So definitely just follow us on social media, Couch Coach Live, Twitter, and we'll get you going. And there's some other stuff coming down the horizon. We'll get you guys updated and see what's going on with that, and let you know everything. But yeah, another, like I said, once again, another great show. I think I did all my church announcements. I think that's it. it's starting to get a little bit more active now. I think more
Right,
so,
right.
you know, a little bit of time, just kind of chill, just do the podcast, but other stuff is also going on. So I definitely did. I think I did all the church announcements that, you know, but it is what it is. But yeah, man. So this has been this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We will catch you guys next week, and we're out.
You're welcome.